started well from a very exciting day yesterday. And, one of the things, just to give you some perspective of the reach and of the relevance, the ICT4Ag is concurrently happening at 5 different locations in addition to a full day of virtual talks that will happen today. So over the course of these 3 days, we had about 2,816 people who registered. This includes both in-person and virtual. We had about 1,467 people who logged into Zoom live event. So the people who spoke here, probably there were probably 100 people who heard the talks, but there were nearly 1,400 people who are actually consuming all the content that was being delivered. We've already gone through about 119 sessions and 312 speakers, right? So that's a commendable feat. So I'd request all of you to continue to have the enthusiasm and passion for day 2 as well, which in my opinion, we have featured some very exciting lineup of sessions today, okay? Just to get the action going, I think all of us were part of a very interesting Unconference event. So Sheena and Sri have been kind enough to sort of agree to do some sort of a summary of the reflections from that Unconference event. So over to you, Sheena and Sri, for the next 20 minutes. And as you are walking up, so right after Sheena and Sri, we will be having John Kieti, who will be doing the session on data cooperatives, followed by Dr. Kiringai. Yeah.
Good morning, everyone. So yesterday I had the session right in the evening where everyone was sort of like, oh, I'm tired, and we had to energize them. But this morning I see bright, fresh faces, full of coffee. Okay, bit of traffic, but apart from that, I think we're good to go. So what we did yesterday was this idea called Unconference. So you must be thinking, I'm here at a conference. What is Unconference? Well, Unconference works really, really, really great for me. And that's because I don't have to do anything. I don't have to do the hard work. It's you guys sitting here as the experts who do everything. And actually, you did an amazing job. And today, what my job will be is just to kind of discuss what some of the key insights that came about from yesterday's session. But before I start, let me introduce myself. My name is Sheena Raikundalia. And I keep saying this, I'm the Chief Growth Officer at Kuza. No pun intended for an agri-tech company, but that's just how it worked out. And what we do at Kuza, I think our founder Sri is going to will be best placed to sort of go through that. And it's super exciting. We're at a very, very exciting stage. And I think you'll hear all about that. So I just want to dive straight into yesterday's Unconference and what we did. So what we did as Unconference is we used some design thinking tools, and we said, we want to put yourself in, we want to put yourself and really, really understand what your problems are. So we went around the room, and the room was super exciting because we had farmers, we had researchers, we had processors, and we said, okay, so as a farmer, what do you want to do? And why? And I'm unable to do this. And everybody came up with some really, really interesting insights. So we had a farmer who said, as a farmer, I want to grow, I want to sell my crops, but I'm unable to do that because I'm not getting a good price for it because everybody's growing the same thing. And this was a maize farmer, and that's what she said. Then I had a processor who said, well, I'm a processor, and I really, really want to process stuff and get markets and earn a lot of money, but I don't have working capital. I don't have money to do that. I need that money to aggregate to my farmers, but I don't have that. Then we had some really, really interesting researchers who said, I've got some really great pieces of research. Some, I think we read some of the notes. It was some climate smart, really, really cool things that can be, transformative. But actually, I need that I need the farmers to be able to use that. And I need that to get to them in a way that they can understand it. Otherwise, I'm sitting here in my lab or in my beautiful campus doing amazing piece of work, but it's actually not getting to the people who need it. So just like that, we heard lots and lots of little snippets from different people with their kind of real life problems. We had some ag tech companies who said, I have amazing solutions. How do these solutions get to the market? We've had some things from buyers saying, actually, I'm looking to get produce. I don't want to have to import from Uganda. I want to get it from here, but I'm not getting that quality and that quantity at the price that I need. So that was the session where we sort of really, really tried to understand, okay, what are your kind of problems? And then, okay, problems, we could actually spend, like we could have another conference room, we could organize for 2 weeks and we still won't have the answers, because that is just how many problems there are in this space. It's a very complex issue. So we said, let's move straight on to solutions. And for solutions, we're like, let's ideate again. Let's come up with ways. How can we come up with, and again, these are problems that are not able to be solved quickly, but let's think if we could. If we had a magic wand and we could wave this magic wand, what would we like to see happen? Because that's the dream ideal scenario. Yes, maybe not likely, but very interesting to think about. And then we said, okay, second question, with what we have now, with the resources that we have now, maybe we have people, maybe we have brains, maybe we have a little bit of money, maybe we have data, but what do we have now? What can we do to solve our problems? And that's kind of what we did. And then each table, they were broken out into tables, kind of presented their solutions. And, we thought, and I thought actually, how will these solutions be? And weirdly, they kept coming together. And when I try and now put it in my own words, it was basically around information asymmetry. It was around, being able to work with the different people in the ecosystem. And in not so many words, that's what everybody said. They said, I would like, farmers said, we would like to have this. And, researchers said this, policy people said this. And the idea was, and it all came about with, actually, we would like to work together better. Which really seems like it's not the solution that you would expect, but I think it's that kind of solution that everybody realizes we can't do it by ourselves, so let's all work together. And that's kind of where that's kind of where the discussion stopped. And we said, and this is when Sri, my colleague, came up and sort of presented, we all want to work together, and we have these amazing conferences. We get together in this beautiful campus in Nairobi. If you're watching online, you're missing out. This is an amazing place. And I'm sure the rest of the venues are great, but we're the best. Anyway, the point being, we get together, we have all these amazing conversations. What do we do next? How do we make sure that when we come back next year, and I hope that we do, we come back saying, these are the things we discussed, and look, this is the progress that we've made, or this is what we've tried to do. And really what we're trying to do is bring people together. And the way we did it yesterday is we presented what we call the Kenya One Network, which Sri will tell us a bit more about, where we said, this is a platform, an open network where everybody can come together and really we can work together better. And let's take actions, right? Because like we all talk about, we want to do this, we want to do this. If we don't actually put it in words, if we don't put it in writing, give it a time and give ourselves that I will do this, I think we'll be back here next year having the same conversation, and we don't want to do that. So on that note, I will stop and let Sri come and present.
Yeah, thank you, Sheena. Thank you so much. Maybe if someone can assist me with.
This is your presentation?
Yeah, that's right.
We'll just put this in the presentation.
And that's it? Oh, wow. Okay, cool. Thank you. Thank you so much. How many of you, show of hands, participated in the Unconference yesterday? Excellent. Okay, so all those who did not, you missed something. But let me also not tease you too much, but set the context. Now, this is the farmer that we are all serving. An average Kenyan farmer is 63-year-old, and an average Kenyan is 19-year-old. And KYC, we do not know the farmers. Extension is challenged, and she needs a boatload of services like inputs, climate smart technologies, credit, access to market, and all of that. So this is the context. And let me now quickly take you to the solution that we managed to put together. Is by bringing this youth into agriculture, we are calling them agripreneurs, and then they are able to offer a set of bundled services. They are not agronomists, they are the people with some kind of agriculture context and background, some education, and they are able to be the ones serving approximately 250 to 300 farmers, both crop and livestock as a portfolio, and they earn a living through commissions that they earn from this. This is something that we've been working on for over 7 years now, and we've got a lot of learnings and where we are taking this forward. Oh, to just give you a perspective, here are all the counties. These are like 43 of the 47 counties. All those that are highlighted in green is where this model has been validated, tested, and we have good amount of evidence which is showing that this is happening. You can see the set of partners. There are 2 of the World Bank programs who anchored this, the World Food Program, Farm to Market Alliance, Heifer International, private sector, all of this. Now, these are different streams in which these agripreneurs are making money. As I said, they are making money through commissions. You can see on the left-hand side, all the crop-related products and services that they are able to facilitate. On the right-hand side, you see all the livestock-related services. And the bottom line, the common value chain is finance or the credit. Not necessary that everybody is doing all of them. It is a choice given to them. And most importantly, an agency at the last mile with dignity as a bottom line. So people can choose what they want and then do it. So this is quickly the model that as Kuza, we've been championing this. And then I want to quickly check on this. What do you think this is? Oh my God. Okay. One more guess. The other day when I shared this, somebody said it's peacock. And somebody said this is COVID virus. Yeah, so we don't know what this is. All we know is this is a data diagram, as you rightly said. What is that, ma'am, you said? Network? Social networking analysis, okay. That's something I learned today. But to just quickly give you an idea, all those orange dots there are our agripreneurs on the ground. The green bubbles there are the counties. Those are like states or counties. We call them counties here. The purple ones, the ones in the middle and the ones on the edges, the small ones, are all service providers. And the size of the bubble shows the volume of business transacted. This is a literal data diagram. By the way, this is $2.5 million worth of business transacted last year. About 2.5 billion shillings. Now, what is it that we learn from here? By the way, each of us in this room is one of those nodes there. And the beauty of this is when you connect these nodes, bring them together onto one common network is when the magic happens. Now, going back to the mama farmer where we had challenge, now all of a sudden the magic is happening. And most importantly, we are seeing the results. Last year, thanks to the support from AgriFin Accelerator and also the World Bank, 60 Decibel ran a quick study, and then it said 65% of the farmers are women. Interesting. 73% said they are accessing a product or service for the first time. 63% said they are not finding an alternative to this. And most importantly, you can see the second row, which says the increase in productivity and income. We were pinching ourselves at how is this all happening? We thought this is going to take 10 years, but this is 2 years time frame when we started doing at across. And you see the last row, which is an unintended consequence. 90% of the farmers said their increased household savings. And 80% said decreased household debt. The secret really is 65% are women, and they are the ones who are holding that purse and managing this, which again is but this is something that we validated. We are working in 6 countries on 2 continents, and we feel we just started. So where is all this going? Now, as we are speaking here, and I can see Simon from Calro here, and we've actually been burning midnight oil for how many months now, Simon? More than a year now. You forgot. Good. That's the right answer, right? So what is happening is, as we are working towards scale in Kenya, as you may all know, as Salim, I think, yesterday shared in the opening plenary, that close to 7 million farmers have already been profiled. That means linking it back, the KYC is done. We know who the farmers are. We know their farms, what they're doing, what they're growing. That's a good one-time data set. But the challenge is, how do we keep this data active? How do we make it up to date, correct? Now that's where this last mile agripreneurs come into play. Now each of us sitting in this room wearing our respective hats, we are looking at this farmer from our own lens. Researchers, you need data. Service providers, they need access to market. And all of us need them, correct? So how is this network panning out? This is where an agripreneur comes with their own technology, and they are plugged onto this Kenya One network. The Kenya One network is this round table that we had yesterday. Literally, Ram, amazing. I actually took a picture of that. We had FAO sitting there, coming from the global perspective. We had a local farmer sitting there at a local perspective, going with the theme of localizing impact. I think I couldn't find a better parallel to that. Now, all the service providers, we are crowding them in. Who are these service providers? These are agtechs, these are input companies, these are aggregators, these are credit companies, researchers, By the way, we see researchers also as a service providers. You got a service and you want to reach the farmer. Why is everybody creating your own express highway? Rather, we can actually do this. And I'm so excited because it took me only 7 years consistently doing this. I lost my hair, my color of the hair is changing, but the context and the perspective is something that we are constantly chasing. And for now, Ram, thanks for convening us and giving us this opportunity. For once, we feel this is real. Because now an agripreneur is coming as an assisted mode, supporting the farmers. And most importantly, because of this technology, by the way, we opened this up. Now, Kenya One Network is the world's first open network. What does it mean? It's based on a beacon protocol, which is a global protocol for digital public infrastructure. That means in the last 6 months, we've invested and changed this entire network. Until then, it was a closed network managed by Kuza. Now it's no longer Kuza. It is we made it a digital public good. Most importantly, this is helping anybody in the network to discover or access a set of products and services. What are we doing as we are speaking? We're creating a service catalog by onboarding everybody onto the network so that you come in with your own expectations, what you want to give, what you want to get out of this, and then the game starts. The agri products and services, you can see the basket of services. These are advisory. These could be inputs, credit, markets, logistics, transport, anything that we can think of, we are bringing it there. And as you know, this is not something any one single agency can do. And this is a collaborative effect. And this is a collective that we are looking towards. And most importantly, where is all this sitting? This is sitting at Kalro Big Data Center. The Kalro Big Data Center is the mothership, which is like the network host, where all this data is sitting in. All the transaction data would also now start piping upwards into that. So we defined some protocols for downstream, upstream data, and the governance rules. We don't have all the answers. That's why I'm putting up my hand and saying, please, 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 step up, join the network, and let us all see how we can make it happen. Let me pause there and put this slide on the screen for a few minutes and then say, how many of you feel excited about this? Show of hands. Wow. How many of you want to be part of this network? Yeah. I know someone is saying you are already there. But unless we don't remind ourselves I'm already there, people don't know. Yep. Now, what is it that we could all pledge to contribute to this so that we can all get what we want out of it? So as Kuza, we are saying we are happy to, do you all like Sheena? Yeah, so Sheena just left a very comfortable UK Kenya Tech Hub Director position and joined a startup like us. I don't know why she did, but we can ask her offline. But she's so passionate, she's well networked, and she said she's putting up her hand and then saying she would be the network coordinator, orchestrator. Sheena, maybe why don't you just join me? Let's just take next 5 minutes to see what we could do. So we are happy to do that. We are looking for hosts. We have a small facility in Westlands that can accommodate about 20 people. So we are happy to host it every month. That's something that we are pledging. Anyone else in the audience who want to pledge anything? Your time, Ram?
We are, at least on behalf of ILRI and with some of the One CGR digital innovation initiatives, we are also happy to support some convenings if you need.
Okay.
Host you guys for a few meetings and contribute in kind, whatever that we can offer.
Excellent. So can we now hold you accountable for this, Ram?
Of course.
To be realistic, can we do one every quarter?
Sure.
In this beautiful campus? Sheena, you got it.
Done. I'm making notes.
She's already making notes.
I'm an ex-lawyer. I used to be a
So
lawyer.
you have to be careful with her, yeah? Okay, any other pledges? Yes, ma'am, please go ahead.
Yeah, this is really exciting, and from the experience that we have experienced with Kuza at FTMA, CGA, which we do direct implementation of the FTMA program and the World Food Program. I will not pledge as an organization, but I pledge my time to participate. I'm based at Makueni, in Makueni County, and my contribution to this would be share insights from farmers, because I interact with farmers, I live with farmers, I eat with farmers daily. I am a farmer myself.
Okay.
To share insights from the farmers on the agripreneur model, what I would recommend is, I've seen one of your partners is World Bank. World Bank has funded the counties with the NAFSEED
NAFCDP,
program,
yep.
and they're adopting agripreneurship.
Yep.
If Kuza could move to the counties and interact with the departments and pick up the role to induct these agripreneurs with whatever it means.
Sorry, I'm just trying,
Yes.
not being rude, but I'm hearing you that you are happy to champion in McQueen
Yes,
County.
yes,
Yeah?
yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Again, to put things in context, as we are speaking on this Saturday, which is our Independence Day, Madaraka Day, His Excellency is announcing this agripreneur program nationally. What that means is, across all the 46 counties, we are going to have 5 agripreneurs per ward. Those are about 1,335 wards. In Makwini, do you know, ma'am, how many wards you have? Okay. Do you know how many sub-counties you have? You are going to get 5 per ward. Approximately, Makwini is getting 120 agripreneurs. Are you delighted?
happy.
Thank you. So you see, this is how the institutionalization is happening on the agripreneur side, and also on the any other pledges in the room? We have some visitors from Rome. They are being very quiet. If you will be voluntold. Again, I repeat, we are not asking money. We are not asking anything. Like, I really like this young lady saying that she's willing to commit her time.
Yeah, well, I work for FAO, but I'm here on a World Bank technical assistance to kind of see how we can bring about a little bit of data coherence in you have 7 million, 6.4 million. So on behalf of assisting World Bank and FAO, we can help create some of the knowledge models that would be needed for the different service providers to access the different services.
Okay.
And also in trying to guide on some of the frameworks that are needed for data governance and related policy related issues. And personally, yes, my technical expertise, if it is of any use. Thanks.
We will make use of that. So we will just peg it. We will expect 1 hour from you every month. Personal time. Is that okay? Now you see, 1 + 1 is not 2, not 4, it's 11. Yeah, that's how the magic happens. Okay, any other pledges? This side of the room is quiet. Rupsha.
Well, I think I can pledge some of my time and our time, like depending on who's available, especially to champion the work around livestock and the drylands and innovations around that. Yeah.
Thank you. Can I give you a high five on this? Thank you. So we need a lot of assistance in livestock. All those ASAL counties, arid and semi-arid, where now we are also getting agripreneurs, we really need that help. So look forward to that. Any other? Yeah. Last 1 more minute. Any other pledges?
WFP sitting right there from South Africa.
WFP from South Africa? No, it's
For
okay.
yourself,
It's
for
okay.
yourself.
But you get it. But the fundamental idea is we are here rest of the day. Please, let's have a conversation. This is a beginning of a revolution. We are reimagining the way we can solve the challenges here. And thank you so much, Ram. Thank you so much for giving us this opportunity. Looking forward.
Thanks a lot, Sri. I think really taking a conference and bringing some call to action, I think that's a commendable feat. Thank you once again, Sheena and Sri. Moving on, I think it's a very good segue from what we just discussed into the next topic. John, can you come up here and start preparing yourself? So we have a very interesting presentation on the idea of data cooperatives, right? End of the day, you see the network, but what happens underneath is cooperation on sharing of data, so on and so forth. So I think it's a good segue into this topic. Over to you, John, and let us just pull up your presentation. Second one. Whatever. If you are more comfortable with this, you can use this. You want to use this? Oh, this is a PDF, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. PDF will take some work. Okay. It's fine. It's a PDF. It's a PDF. So
Good morning.
This here, this one.
I really like the work at Kuza, the agripreneurship program. It's very interesting. Mine will be a bit different. I like the aggregation effect of the agri. Cool. Oh yeah, it's up. So, yeah, I'll try and take the next 10 or so minutes. When I say agricultural data is golden treasure, invisible, and among small-scale farmers, I did present this a couple of weeks back, and it attracted a couple various. Some people say that no, data alone is not of any value, and that's on the other end, pretty much saying that you need to analyze the data so that you can get any value out of that. The other people were saying that actually it's an understatement that data is as valuable as gold, because data. Gold does not replicate. You cannot replicate gold. You cannot multiply. But data, the more the data you have, the more value you're accumulating. The more of the value you're getting. So it cannot just be compared. And where does all this gold, if indeed it's gold or treasure, where does it sit currently? It seems to be sitting probably with the architects, Kuza and the rest. It could be yesterday. I sat through the presentation yesterday when there was a lot of mention of farmers using WhatsApp, farmers and people and traders. A lot of agricultural value chain work happening within WhatsApp. So is this data sitting between Meta and their WhatsApp platforms? In some conversations, we hear a lot of the more advanced farmers being inundated to store their data in platforms that are on Apple or on Google. Where is all this data? Where is all this gold? Is it amongst government and NGOs? People with the farmer registry thing in Kenya, the chemist thing. Where is all this data? Is that data held by the input suppliers, Bayer and the rest? Has it not left the farmer yet? It's still with the producers. And is it even of any value if it's not coming together? Because yesterday in the conversation about data-driven agriculture yesterday, we had a lot of stories about how fragmented data is, how many people are replicating each other's work, each other's effort, how expensive it is to collect data, and I like to say even how should the farmer feel? One of the things that was mentioned is the data collection fatigue, where every one of us is going to the farmers to ask to get more data, and eventually the question is, what does that mean for the farmer later after you've collected your data and gone? And is the value of that data, if any value is going to come out of that data, will it be redistributed back to the farmer? And of course, and a lot of us will agree that it's important to protect personally identifiable information of farmers. But is that all? Is that all that the farmer is entitled to as far as their data is concerned? Just protecting the personally identifiable data? Could it be that farm data is actually a product of the farmer's labor, to the extent that he needs compensation for just the data bit alone? And I'm not just saying that, yes, you'll sell the product to the market, he gets 10% of the price of the value of the price in the market. What about the value of the labor that he put in to collect that data? When you put lots of data together, and you combine this, you apply these very advanced algorithms that are coming up of late, you'll realize that there's a lot of value being created over and above data that was not initially thought as of value. A lot of websites all over Google and Gemini, the engine, and OpenAI, they scrap the data across the web. No questions. Right now, there's still a lot of quite some legal conversations out there about whether this data that has been used to train the OpenAI or Gemini or those other huge things happening in the last couple of weeks, couple of years in terms of generative AI and other machine learning. Bayer the other day was launching the the generative AI engine based out of their proprietary information that they have accumulated over time, over many years. And the question comes, if all this, if there was at some point the involvement of the farmer and whoever is in that agricultural value chain and the data that's been accumulated, whether it's with the traders, whether it's with the transporters, the agro processors, or anyone in that value chain, is there any way of making sure that the value of that data can be redistributed to make sure that there is the farmer is benefiting, the trader is benefiting out of just the data bit beyond the service thing. So here is these guys at the USAID and the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, they funded a study last year about how we could make sure that our data in agriculture is more farmer-centric. So one of the things that, one of the recommendations that came strong out of there is data cooperatives. And then when I looked up the web to try and understand what's been happening with this concept of the data cooperative, it's not a new concept. It's not a very new concept. As far back as 2004, it was a popular concept, the data cooperatives concept. Of course, we are talking about data commons ways as another way to make sure that we're being farmer-centric, the digital public infrastructure. But if we could just zero in a bit on data cooperatives, we could define them as democratically governed organizations that could facilitate the pooling of members' data and for mutual benefit, and that's either economic or social. And if we could spend a little time, a few minutes on this slide. Are we thinking about if data cooperatives are a way of ensuring that we have more farmer-centric data governance? Is it even viable in the first place? We'll be hearing a little more from Dr. Kamau on what's going on the ground. But is it even realistic? And if we are to build on such a concept for farmer-centric data governance, should we be creating fresh new data cooperatives that are not based out of because the cooperative has been there, the solidarity economy has been there for many years, in fact. And so should we be augmenting the existing data, existing cooperatives with the data layer, or to be more data to introduce more, to have more capacity to manage their data and have more focus on creating value around that data? Or should we be forming from a clean slate, well-governed new data cooperatives with data focus? And if whether it's a new cooperative, fresh, a clean slate, or augmenting the existing cooperatives, how can we be sure that the problems that we've always had of leadership, of transparent leadership, accountable leadership, and democratic leadership, do we have a problem of rent-seeking cooperatives that leadership in cooperatives, or can we? Is there a way we can invest as whichever organization that we come from? Is there a way we can invest in cooperatives, existing cooperatives, to be such that they can be these kinds of organizations that can help us to mobilize this data sovereignty amongst the farmers, so that they are helping to create more value, not only for them, not only for us as ILRI or as FAO, but also be able to redistribute the value of the data that's coming up the value chain to the farmer. I guess there's still a big question of whether it's really viable when in places and in New York you have this cooperative, the cooperative, the Uber or equivalent that is driven out of the cooperative movement which is pretty successful. Join Data in the Netherlands has been quite helpful with helping with farmers to benefit from the value of their data. The Farmer Business Network in the US, and ILRI and their work with the dairy improvement of the dairy herds. So I want to imagine that the US national they have had like 100 years of history of data sovereignty, where whatever innovations, whatever research is happening is building on the association or cooperatives of dairy herd associations that are helping to not only benefiting from the improvement of the genetics, but also farmers being able to contribute data to as a pool in the association, and that data from the farmer from the cattle, they're able to even benchmark against each other about the quality of my production or the quality of my milk, and so on and so forth. So it seems like it's about time for us to think more seriously about the cooperative, the solidarity economy, and data sovereignty, even and as we think about other models, about the agripreneurship model or the other very useful model, what about the existing infrastructure? And I'll leave you, those who will be able to access the slide, I'll leave you with a couple of ideas and reading list, and I hope we can continue with this conversation online with the hashtag #AgDataCooperatives. Thank you.
You'd like to do any Q&A? Any quick comments, questions, one or two? Seems, oh, there, go ahead. And then there's Manish as well. Keep
Yeah.
it crisp and short so
Yeah.
that we
Thank you very much. My name is Femi. I would like to understand what you mean by the value of data. Could you just give some bit of explanation to that? Thank you.
answer it quickly and then
Okay. So let us look at for instance, there's at least around 500,000 data points being produced by farmers every day. Of course, those statistics may have been for a bigger farm, so you can scale it down to around 25,000. And that data could be about the soil health. It could be about the pesticides that were sprayed there, and the value of it, for instance, for traceability sake, at the point of someone ordering someone that has the contract farmer, who the person who is buying off the contracting farmer, could they potentially tell what ingredients went into the production of that? So in terms of verifiability, isn't it value that you could have traceability from the data to know whether it's actually of the quality that you wanted? Yeah.
Hey, Manish, over to you.
I'm Vanessa Adams. Sorry, I wasn't here yesterday. I am super passionate about this topic, and I'm really glad you're raising the underpinning ethical questions. But I think you also infer the business opportunity, but you haven't given us any numbers or solutions. So I'd like to challenge the study to do a phase 2. There was a fantastic benchmark report, as you all know, 2019, right, that the CTA did looking at the landscape of digital ag solutions. And they were looking at reach, right? How many farmers are actually being used, with what frequency, what's the stickiness? And there were also a number of recommendations, which I think we should take back out. Now we're 5 years on, we've had COVID, and look at how far we've come, both in terms of regulatory framework, which you're referring to, but also the business uptake. There have been some, huge visible failures, and also some scaled wins. And I think what a lot of people fail to look at is the digital ag elements of non-digital ag solutions, right? So if you look at, and that's what Safaricom, of course, based their whole logic on with the telecom. So I think it would be good to look at also interoperability, as you're describing, and this is what Wagagan University is also trying to dig into with their analytics. So I look forward to the phase 2 of this. Thanks.
And I look forward to having more conversations with you on this.
Cool. Thanks a lot. I think that's a very interesting conversation. Next, let me invite Professor Kiringai Kamau. The topic would be data cooperatives, seeding success or growing pains, a reality check. I think it's a good segue from your question, Vanessa, into this presentation. Just let me pull up.
Yes, and good morning, everyone.
Because you need to sort of.
Yes. 15 minutes is good. I am a man of few words, so 15 would be good. I'm here bringing greetings from Murang'a County. I'm the I have been the CEC for agriculture until last week, when we actually chose to check on how we are achieving the goal of delivery to our farmers. And then I was told, based on what I'm discussing, I should actually be coordinating everything that everybody else is doing. So I'm now in charge of devolution, external linkages. So every one of you is actually invited to Murang'a so that we formalize these linkages. And so I am here because I want to discuss some of the things that we are doing in the county. But this is work that started some time back. And last year, we had a conference here, a symposium here in the same room, and we were discussing how we bring people together that are working in the data space that can contribute to data use cases in the agricultural space. And that was hosted by myself and Dr. Ram. And we were looking at the possibilities of creating thematic areas that can be used to advise the Kenya government, because in its strategy on the agricultural sector transformation and growth strategy, one of the things they have said in flagship number 8 is that they need data use cases to facilitate innovation. And given that no data was quite available until now that Kuza is coming with the agripreneurs, and Caro is actually now creating the agenda on Kiamis, there wasn't any particular data sourcing dimensions. So I'm here, therefore, at that time I was just working for the Global Open Data for Agriculture and Nutrition. I still work for Global Open Data and Nutrition as its global lead. And it just fell on me because GODAN was created as an advocacy group of FAO, and I met Gerald sometime, and he was saying, we were discussing what is happening now, and everything else when the donor funds ended fizzled out. What we were doing in agriculture and the value chains didn't fizzle out. Why? Because we had started creating a solution that I'll be sharing as the basis of why we continue doing what GODAN was created to do. So my presentation, therefore, is to, again, align with the agricultural value chains from the dimension of, this is a study I had done sometimes earlier for World Bank when it was starting some of the programs that it's running today. And I established that much of the earnings that come from the farmers, whatever they produce, much of what the consumer pays, the farmer only receives less than 35%. 65% is all taken by others, either doing logistics or handling aggregation or doing post-harvest transportation or processing and branding, where much of the money goes. And then the consumer storage takes the rest. So that less than 35% or 34%, according to that study, actually showed that the farmer doesn't earn any money. And then the question that when I was faced with this, I wanted to address from the Agricultural Transformation Office of the Ministry of Agriculture was, how do we ensure that the farmer is also earning across the chain? And it was not possible, because there are so many issues associated with the devolution in the country, where we had one central government sitting and then discussing what should be done by the counties, and the counties were not comfortable with that. So, and based on that, you can now understand why I had to actually take the step of moving from the university down to the county, where I'm now facilitating some of the thoughts that were disturbing me. And therefore, I am keen now to actually look with everybody else that we are working together and I'll be sharing some of those experiences. Can we make sure that at the farmer level, we have data sourcing dimensions? At the producer transportation or logistics level, we can be able to capture data around there. At the aggregation and cold storage, can we also collect data from there? And how can we also do it in post-production so that we have data that is also there and all the way up to processing? But then you realize that the farmer is actually not earning much from that. So let us create businesses that are owned collectively that could actually help so that you have the farmer at their end. Their farmer cooperatives are not only dealing with the farmer level activities. Then you actually create quality assurance and data analytics that can actually create work that can be done. Then the data analytics dimension and incubation, so that we can create structures that will actually be hosted for the purpose of data aggregation. Can we also say that even in irrigation, you can actually capture data associated with that, and mechanization and everything else that is happening in the agricultural space? So it is for that reason that we actually then decided, let us create one single data transformation platform that we called the Integrated Food Systems Operating System and sustainability system. And we have, I don't know how many members of the Data Think Tank initiative that we created are here. If you are here, raise your hand. I can see a few that are here, but we had the representations from research. We have representations from data warehousing organizations, and people like Konza were here. We had researchers from we have from ERI and other GCTI institutions that were working with us. And we have government, we have everybody, including farmers, were represented here. So the iFood SOS looks at how does farmers produce and aggregate their produce, and that is where we have the farm hub. And then we have technology solutions for capturing and generating the data, test soil capturing, and so advising on what fertilizers are needed for the inputs. So we have AI agronomy that is involved there. Then we have farmers own or belong to cooperatives. How can those cooperatives be facilitated by giving them some guarantee funding so that the cost of money to the farmers is much less than is today? Because we actually deal with GODAN and the nutrition is very critical to it, how can we also ensure that we have the food pharmacies facilitating that? And can everything here be, can we create a back-end data source that for everyone can actually have raw data contributed by the data cooperative? And that is why we have in the next slide that I now have is, how do we create the cooperative innovation or data platform for data sourcing around this? And we actually look at a data cooperative from the dimension of open data. And we think of, is data and what a farmer is supposed to own shared across by everyone, everybody else earning and the farmer is not earning. So within the open data paradigm, what we have done in the iFood SOS, we have made it clear that the open data will be used by anybody doing research on the same areas that the farmer is generating the data, but the farmer owns the data. So we will open the data and anonymize it and have it available for research. Then, so there is corporate existence that we push, and that is where the cooperative of the producers is. Then we have to anchor what value chain benefits that we want the farmer to have. And we are talking about everything from the consumption all the way back, with a layer that with the value chains layers that I showed, and showing that much of the money goes into processing. Can the farmers also go into processing? But we have to have a very clear vision within that. And there has to be a very clear dimension of how do we ensure that the farmers have a governance, or they have leadership that is observing governance styles that is not stealing from them. And then we ensure that there is data openness, because it is through the use of data and analytics that money is generated. Can the farmer be at the center of it as well? Then data privacy and security, can we ensure that within the local production level, we are assuring that? And the opportunity sharing and distributed ownership of all this through investment. So we are looking at cooperatives in Murang'a today that are bringing together those that are willing to explore new frontiers, and we are investing. We are calling people to invest. The reason? Murang'a was just last week feted for being the most digital county. And the commissioner the commissioner for budgeting said that Murang'a is nutrition together. And I am told that the World Vegetable Center has agreed with us that we can actually start the first nutrition health hospital in Murang'a. So anybody who wants not to go and take pharmaceuticals, but take food for medicine, will be coming to Murang'a. Asanteni sana. So I'm done.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? We can take two. Please go ahead. You can just press this button and then.
All right. Thank you very much, Prof, for that wonderful presentation. I'm just looking at it in terms of data privacy and data security. And I think in terms of technology, since yesterday, we've been handling more on AI integration into the farming system. But then when I look at what you've just presented, probably I may recommend in terms of data privacy and security, and also traceability, to ensure that the farmer is informed and also that value is coming direct to the farmer. I think we can also explore more on blockchain technology, have systems in agriculture formed through the blockchain technology that can really ensure traceability, security, and data privacy. Thank you.
Okay. More a comment.
Yeah, it was more of a comment, but maybe I also need to advise that the iFood SOS is actually built with those the data privacy dimension integrated into it. Thank you.
Great. Okay, fantastic. Many thanks, John and Professor Kiringai, for that fantastic presentations on data cooperatives. Now, I request my colleague Rupsha to come and take us through the next session. So you can have time until 11:15.
Okay, so thank you, Ram, and good morning, everyone.